Hello, you are listening to the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. I'm your host, Catherine Carrigan, medical intuitive healer and Amazon #1 best-selling author. You can find out more about me and my work at catherinecarrigan.com and unlimitedenergynow.com. While you're there, definitely sign up for my newsletter so you can learn even more about how you can heal yourself naturally. Now, we're going to be talking today about one of my favorite subjects. And what many people don't know is that I am a fashionista. And we are going to be talking today to an expert on this subject, Diana Fellaa. Diana Fellaa is an online fashion reseller, and you can find out more about Diana Fellaa and her wonderful work at her website, educatedfashion.com. Welcome, Diana Fellaa.
Thank you so much for having me, Catherine.
Now, Diana Fellaa, I know that you were a teacher and educator for 7 years, and that's why your website is called educatedfashion.com. And you've switched over to being an online fashion reseller.
Yes.
Now, Diana Fellaa, one of the things that many people don't know is that the fashion industry is actually one of the top polluters in the world. Why is the fashion industry one of the top polluters in the world? And how does pollution from the clothing industry affect global warming and the health of each and every one of us?
Thank you, Catherine. That is such an important question. So in my teacher mind, of course, we have to go back to the beginning. Where did fashion come from, or specifically fast fashion? So we go back to one of my favorite decades, the 1920s, when ready-wear became popular, right? Because of technological advances, clothing companies and other industries were able to really maximize production and make more items at a more affordable cost for customers, which sounds great and lovely. And of course, for them, they would make more money only if they sell higher quantities. And that is where, right, this, I call it like the Walmart mindset began. So it became, a necessity almost to just keep buying the new product. And as ready-wear grew into fast fashion, as we call it now, unfortunately, the impact it has on global warming and the environment was just exasperated and is at, like record numbers now. So for example, we use this example a lot, just to make a basic cotton t-shirt, right? A simple cotton t-shirt is 650 gallons of water just to make your basic cotton t-shirt. And I always have to double check that number because it sounds so unbelievable to me. I'm like 650 gallons of water, of fresh water, mind you, for one t-shirt. And of course, if we can just multiply that in our minds, I honestly can't even comprehend how large the impact is from fast fashion. And especially with water, we often forget about the freshwater factor, and the fashion industry is responsible for using 10% of the world's fresh water, which I found, I found so disheartening, honestly. So it just really has snowballed over the years. And then when you add in the chemicals, the dyes, even the preservatives that are used in clothing, so that they can be shipped all over the world, and it's really quite unhealthy. A lot of the chemicals and preservatives, people don't realize there are preservatives in clothing so that they don't get moldy. They want them to arrive perfect. So all of those chemicals end up either in the water or on our skin. So it truly does affect, right, the collective health of our planet because of the water usage, the chemicals being dumped into the water, but also our individual health because of what we are like literally contacting with our skin. So fast fashion, although I also am a fashionista, we have to recognize the dangers of it, so that we can continue to love fashion, but in a much more responsible and sustainable way.
Wow, that is just incredible information. So 650 gallons of water just to make one t-shirt. Okay, and the fashion industry uses 10% of the fresh water in the whole world.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
it's unbelievable, truly.
So I have to say this because I love clothes. I'm 62, and I also have to give a shout out to Diana, because this beautiful dress that I am wearing, I actually bought from Diana Fellaa at educatedfashion.com, which is how I found out about her and her wonderful work. And I remember years ago, I had seen this beautiful dress and I was like, wow, that's a great dress. And I remember at the time it was $150.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can justify that. And
Mhm.
so I bought it from her from Poshmark.com. And I think I paid $50 new with tags in my size. And I'm also, for our audience, I'm wearing a pair of shoes that I bought on Poshmark. And I happened to buy these pair of shoes and another pair, two pairs of shoes for $12. And so these shoes that I bought were used, but they were in excellent condition. And I bought two pairs of shoes for $12, which saves me money. I bought this stunning dress in one of my favorite colors for $50 new with tags. So we have to look at it from a financial point of view. You can save money. Now, Diana Fellaa, online fashion reseller at educatedfashion.com. Here at the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio, we have listeners literally all over the world, in the UK, in India, all over Europe, all over the world. Where can people all over the world go to buy and sell recycled clothing online?
Excellent question. So the number one place, especially for international, just reselling in general, is ebay.com. For our listeners in the United States, we can ship internationally. So people all around the world can get recycled items, but also they obviously can sell as well. So it really, eBay, I'm sure there were other platforms beforehand, but eBay truly did revolutionize the secondhand retail world, even just secondhand in general, and truly does allow people to, in my mind, essentially trade. And yes, you use money, sure, but you really are, in my mind, just like partaking in an old-fashioned kind of habit, right? Going back to before fast fashion, when we really just appreciated clothing. And I feel like there's so much more of a personal connection when it comes from like my closet to your closet. It just connects us as humans a little more. So eBay, definitely number one. I mean, you can find virtually anything on eBay. And Poshmark is another very popular app. I know that it is available in the United States, Canada, and Australia. Poshmark is still a relatively new company, and they are always expanding, so keep an eye out for them. And Mercari is probably, I'd say, the third most popular. That platform actually started in Japan. So I know it's available in Japan. And that is, I would say, kind of the competitor to eBay. There are dozens more, but those are the three, big like platforms that we use.
Okay, fabulous. Now, Diana Fellaa, online fashion reseller of educatedfashion.com. How can recycling clothing help reduce pollution throughout the world?
Oh my gosh, it's especially once you begin reselling and truly like partake in the recycling of clothing, you really see how much clothing needs to be recycled. So say, for example, a reseller, we would go to thrift shops, Goodwill, whatever your local thrift store is, and purchase clothing to resell. What people don't realize is if the clothes at those thrift stores isn't purchased, it goes to the landfill, right? Like, what else are they going to do with it? Well, actually beforehand, it goes to a Goodwill outlet, which is what we call the bins. And there's even, it's essentially a landfill. And then clothes eventually go to the landfill. So when you buy secondhand and you recycle your clothing, not only are you preventing just the production of clothing, right? You're eliminating the water waste, you're eliminating the chemicals that are used. You're also eliminating like the waste in the disposal part of the clothes life. So you really help kind of like bookend it, right? You help in the production and you help in the disposal of it by not disposing of it. So it really has like a beginning and end effect, which I think is quite unique actually for our trade.
Yes. Now I live down the street, literally from a Goodwill store, and it's so easy for me to bring things to Goodwill. But when I read about how most of the clothing that gets donated to thrift stores actually ends up in the dump, basically, then I started making more of an effort to find new owners for my clothes. Like yesterday, I went through my closets and I put together 4 boxes of clothes for some underprivileged children. And I'm like, okay, here they are. I'm just going to give them these clothes and, hopefully they'll like them and they'll fit. And I know when I went to school in England, they have a long tradition of one of my favorite activities. They call them jumble sales. And when you go to a jumble sale, people put out all their clothing and then it's like this mad scramble. And you look through and it's like, oh, that sweater fits, I like it. And you buy from the jumble sale. So it's like natural community recycling. So again, there's these long histories and there's ways of finding new owners for your clothes through people that but do you happen to know what the statistic is about what percent of the clothes that are donated at thrift stores actually end up in landfills? Because I know it's a lot and it's probably the majority.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of different numbers. Honest, like every time you go into a thrift store, actually, usually they say it on the PA system. So I've heard a lot of different numbers, but the number that I know specifically is each average American throws away about 70 pounds of clothing a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know it like hurts to say 70 pounds per year. And I mean, that just keeps piling in our landfills. There's, where else do we put it if we don't give it to someone else?
Wow. And so then those of us who love fashion, again, I love fashion and I'm pretty much the same size that I was when I was 30, and I get bored with my clothes. Like when I was looking through the things that I donated to the underprivileged kids, I'm like, I've worn these leggings for about 10 years now. I'm just tired of looking at them.
Right, refresh.
Yeah, refresh. Now, we talked about fast fashion, and the other thing that we haven't talked about is the economic impact, because there are people in China. For example, I've read about people literally in prison camps who are basically slave laborers, de facto slave laborers making clothing. And then there's other people who are not literal slaves, but they're being paid very little money. So do you have any comments on the economic impact that the fashion industry is having on underprivileged people around the world?
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that you said it is slave labor, but fast fashion is so clever. They are, if nothing else, they are quite intelligent and they know exactly what to do. So it's not technically slave labor, but we all know, right? Ethically, financially, I mean, in every way possible, that's exactly what it is. So it's families, adults teenagers and children who are exploited and paid hard. I'm not even sure how much they're paid, honestly. Just insignificant amounts for intense labor, and also, again, the dangerous labor with the chemicals, and I mean, just being in a factory in general. And I often hear some people say, well, we're giving them jobs. Yeah, like, like on the surface, yes. But what is really happening is, of course, they need a job, right? People need money to survive. You want to help your family. So you're going to do what you need to do, right? That doesn't mean that it's right. Yes, they may, I hate to choose to work in these like situations, but it's because they're being exploited, right? They prioritize their family maybe over their personal health, which I think a lot of us do, and we would do the exact same thing, right? So, gosh, it really, and also aside from the physical like potential damages of fast fashion, just again being in a factory, the emotional and mental exhaustion, I mean, I can't speak to, because I can't even truly like imagine what it is like, but they know exactly what they're doing. It's not like they just, they think they're in a lovely place making these clothes for, no, they know what's going on. So I think just to be exposed to that every day, and to be aware of like the domino effect of fast fashion, and that it really starts on their side, it's overwhelming. It truly
Right.
is.
Yeah. And so we may buy a dress or a t-shirt or a pair of shorts at a discounted price, but someone else on the other side of the globe is literally paying with their own health. And I know for myself, I'm so old that I grew up making my own clothes, right? And I learned to sew on my grandmother's sewing machine. However, today, when I literally price out how much it would cost me to make a skirt or make a dress, it's actually cheaper for me to buy my clothes. But the question we want to look at, how can I purchase my clothes in an ethical way that doesn't destroy the planet, that doesn't harm other people's health, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And has a beneficial impact rather than a negative impact. Now, how is Diana Fellaa, online fashion reseller of educatedfashion.com, how is fast fashion connected to self-image and women's health?
I love this question, because I think a lot of people don't really make that connection, right? We know that the fashion industry and women's health, they're correlated, but we don't truly realize they are directly connected. So again, we go back to the beginning, right? When ready-wear started. So again, in the industry developed, they were able to make more clothes at a more affordable price, as long as they're sold in higher quantities. So, okay, let's say they make, I don't know, that beautiful dress, and they make it at an affordable price, and now every woman has it. Well, now what? They need us to do that again, right? It's not like they sell us one dress and say, great, we're done. The idea for them is to make money and to keep repeating that. So how do you make an excess of clothing a necessity? Well, you make women feel bad about themselves. Because if we are never enough, we're never good enough until something, right? That's the message we receive from society, from so many different industries, but especially the fashion and beauty industry, because again, they need to make money. So how do they convince us to keep purchasing clothing? None of us need more clothing, right? But we keep buying it because we feel the need, because we are manipulated into thinking, if I don't get, the new crop top or whatever it is, I'm not good enough. Society won't accept me. And we women, we know we just snowball in our thoughts. So it really, and then, oh gosh, add in the like body image issues, and the just fashion ads and models, and that's a whole other issue. it really is so detrimental to women's physical health, but primarily our mental health.
Yes, I think so, for sure. And I mean, I feel like so many people feel like they've got to look a certain way, and they're destroying their health by extreme dieting or over exercising, or we could go on. Right.
Mhm.
Now, Diana Fellaa, online fashion reseller of educatedfashion.com, how do you think finding our personal style can help to boost our self-esteem?
Oh, yes. So personal style is so important, because I also just want to say, obviously, you're a fashionista. I'm a fashionista. Fashion is not bad, right? Fashion is self-expression. It's a form of art.
Mhm.
Fast fashion is where things go wrong. So, excuse me, unfortunately, there's the smoke here in Colorado from the fire, so I'm a little, pardon me.
All good. Yes. Another effect of global warming is
Mhm,
fires, right? Which affect
mhm.
our health. So going back, it's like, as we really see the interconnectedness of all things, by buying and selling our clothes in a more ethically responsible way, we help to at least reduce the factors that affect global warming.
Exactly.
And yes, and that
Absolutely.
is going to impact all of our health, every person on the planet. So,
Absolutely.
so the question is, how can finding our personal style help to boost our self-esteem?
Right. So as we said, right, your personal style or fashion is a form of self-expression. And when you don't have a personal style, it's a symptom of a lack of confidence, because you don't really know who you are.
Mhm.
So I know for myself, right, I just recently left a career. I was a teacher for 7 years. My closet is a teacher closet, right? It's like, you can see it a mile away. And I'm kind of going through that currently, because for, the majority of my adult life, I dressed as a teacher because that's what I did. And now I finally have the chance to say, well, who am I? Like, what do I actually want to dress as? Like, who is Diana Fellaa? And it really has been quite a journey. And also just realizing truly how depressed I was, but how finding my new style is really helping me on like a journey of self-fulfillment. And I know some people think clothes are silly and all of this, but it truly helps you know who you are, and also just understand what, like, the image that you're projecting into the world. Because I realized this summer that the image I was projecting was not how I was feeling. And we want those to match, right? We all should hopefully feel beautiful on the inside, and we want to, help that glow and reflect on the outside.
Diana Fella, in one of my 10 books, Unlimited Energy Now, I have a whole chapter. And
Mm.
again, this is a book about how to have more energy, about clothing. And in all of my books, I like to start with a little quote. And I have a quote from a friend of mine who's a fashion designer. And she said, "When you're depressed, get dressed.
Oh gosh. Mhm.
When you're depressed, get dressed." And so many of my clients, they'll show up, back when I was seeing people in person, and now I work with them on Zoom, and
Mhm.
they're all depressed and they're wearing all black. You have to laugh, right? It's like, well, did you ever think about, how the way you're dressing is affecting your way you feel? And I have a saying: dress like a bag lady, eat like a bag lady.
Oh,
And so you don't take care of your personal appearance, well, you're not going to take care of your body either. And I
exactly.
say, dress like a goddess, eat like a goddess.
Oh, I love that. Mm.
Yes.
Oh, I love
Yes.
it.
Now, Diana Fella, online fashion reseller, so many women believe they have to lose weight. Big sigh, grown, or
Right.
change something about their body to feel beautiful, which is, all women, we want to feel beautiful. What, in your opinion, do women really need to do to feel beautiful?
Whew, this question hits home. It really does. Because like, I think 99% of women, I too, always think, well, I need to lose weight. I need to do this. I need to remove this hair. And again, it's that idea of you'll never be good enough until, and they just keep raising the bar.
Mhm.
And as cliche as this sounds, and I hate cliches, but you just need to love yourself unconditionally, no matter your weight, no matter your skin color, your hair color, the amount of hair that you have. You need to love yourself regardless of all of those factors and all the things that we're told to care about. Once you understand, because it's not even about like becoming beautiful. You are beautiful. You just have to like see it. And think of how many times when you're with your girlfriends, we compliment each other like, oh my gosh, I love your, I don't know, your lips, they're just gorgeous. And we go, oh no, we just constantly start berating ourselves. And it's just so harmful. Like, no, accept that you are a stunning person. And once you know that and understand it, the rest just kind of falls into place. Like it really, it's quite magical.
It's really funny. As a medical intuitive healer, I do so many things for my clients. And, one of the things that I do actually is I find your power color. So when you want to show up as a powerful person, what color do you need to wear? And this is truly going to be different for every person. So some people would say, oh, wear red or wear black. Well, you may not look great in red.
Right.
So what's your power color? So if you have a job interview and you want to express your most powerful self, and then also what's your sexy color? So when you're, going out on a date or you're wanting to have a romantic interlude, what color do you need to wear to get in touch with that side of yourself? And you would not believe how many clients that I have where they're coming to me to talk about their physical health. And then I end up talking to them about their appearance. And a great story that I have to tell, I remember within the past 6 months, I had a client and I can't remember what we were talking about. And I was like, you know what? You really need to go and get 4 new outfits. And this, if you're listening, this is a great assignment. And I said, not just like a top, oh, here's a shirt, and then you go home and you go, what the heck do I wear this with? I want you to get an outfit. So that's the top, the bottom, the earrings, the shoes, the scarf, and put it all together. Well, anyway, she got 4 new outfits. She actually listened to what I told her. She got 4 new outfits, and it totally changed the way that she saw herself. She lost 20 pounds without doing anything different.
Wow.
Right? It's like suddenly she sees herself as a beautiful person.
Exactly. It's like, I always say like putting on lipstick for me is like my power move. Like if I have on lipstick, watch out. It's just,
Yeah, exactly. Watch out. Here we come. Now let's talk something practical, because there's 3 primary sources of stress in life, and one of them is money. And I already showed everybody my shoes that I had bought, and I bought 2 pair, okay, for $12. This was one of the 2 that I got in perfectly great condition, as you can see, for $12. How can we save money by purchasing recycled clothing?
Oh, and this is a perfect time of the year to ask that question, because it is back to school season and families spend so much money on clothes, partly out of necessity and partly because it's the culture, right? And come August, September, you get your kids new clothes. And right, first, if you just buy recycled clothing, you're saving, again, not only the planet and your health, but you're saving money. It is a fraction of the cost to buy something that's recycled. And like you said, it's not always like truly used clothing. A lot of times it's just clothing that hasn't even been used yet. Or for, kids' clothes, maybe it was used, for like 2 weeks and then they grew. And especially a lot of families too, if they're, school-age children have to wear uniforms. Uniforms are not usually given by the school. A lot of people think the schools issue them. No, they don't. They'll issue maybe a patch that has to go on a shirt, or maybe they'll give them one shirt and then they say, you need to get these shoes, these pants, this sweater, this, and it's a lot and it's very specific. And families need to get those clothes or their kids cannot attend school. So just by, for a family of even 4, if the whole family goes to Goodwill or shops on Poshmark, I would say an estimated 70% savings. That's about the average on Poshmark. I would even say a little bit more. If you're really good at it, you can save like 95%. And it really does alleviate that of like, oh God, well, how much should I spend on these clothes? Okay, $250. No, like $25, you can, dress your whole family. And then with that money you save, take your family to the movies, do something fun together instead, create some memories instead of buying something that they'll grow out of in a month or so.
Yeah. My boyfriend is always telling me, Catherine, you've got to stop telling people how much your clothes cost. Because someone will go, oh, I love your dress. And I'll go, oh, I bought that for $20 on eBay. And so, it's just something, it happens right there. And just bear with me. My computer went funky for some reason there. And so hold on a minute. So bear with me. And I'm having a technical difficulty here. And just bear with me here. Not sure what is going on. So we can definitely save a tremendous amount of money on recycled clothing. And so again, what I do when I'm shopping is I'll put in a parameter for how much I want to spend on clothing. So for example, if I go to Poshmark, I'll put in my size, new with tags, under $25. And people are shocked. And I teach yoga. I'm wearing this beautiful shirt that I bought brand new for $7. And, when I look at my friends and they're buying new at full price, you can spend $250 on a dress. And I'm like, why?
Why? Exactly.
Why? It's not necessary. Now, how does reducing pollution from the clothing industry help the health of workers in far off lands such as India and China? Because again, it's like, you may look great on your $250 dress, but what did somebody in India and China, what did their health have to suffer to go through and make that dress that you're wearing?
Exactly. Again, it's that trying as much as we can to remove ourselves from fast fashion, because the further we are able to remove ourselves, the less quantities that these companies force their workers to make. Again, because it's not like, if they need to increase their quantities, these companies aren't hiring more workers, right? They're just making their workers work more for not more money. So the more that we can just distance ourselves, right, it would decrease, again, that water waste, the fresh water, which just breaks my heart. It would decrease the amount of chemicals produced and used. I believe, I can't remember, I want to say 10%, I'm not 1000% sure, but the fashion industry is responsible for, I want to say at least 10% of the chemicals produced in the world.
Wow. Yeah.
So the production of chemicals, the use of chemicals, then the pollution of the chemicals, the waste of the water, again, that mental and emotional health, spiritual health of these people who, again, they're not ignorant. They know exactly their role in this like web of fast fashion. And again, the more we can separate ourselves, just the less of an impact this negative industry will have on these people across the world.
Now, Diana Fellaa, I know that at Educated Fashion, part of what you do is help people discover their personal style.
Mhm.
How can women go about discovering their personal style in a cost-effective way?
Well, I always actually told my students whenever we had like a spring break or something, I'd say, hey, get together with your friends, go to Goodwill, go to thrift, and just have fun, right? Try on the funky sweater, try on a new pair of shoes. And yeah, first of all, you can just be fun and silly. It also is a great place to look for a Halloween costume. But, as you're shopping, you'll be surprised. You'll pick up something, oh, that's cute. And it's $1.99, so, and then you have a new top that actually suits you, right? Because when you don't have to, again, do the budgeting in your head and all those other things, you're free to choose the clothing that actually works for you. You don't have to worry about the brand or the label. Even sizing, I find to be less daunting
Mhm.
in a thrift store because everything's used. So it was washed, it was worn. I always say, I'm like, it shrunk. I assume it shrunk. So it just like, it takes that mental load of me going like, oh my gosh, should I go up a size? Oh no. Who knows? Maybe this top was made 10 years ago and the sizing is totally different. So it takes away all of that like societal pressure and just like allows you to have fun. Or if you're also like me and addicted to online shopping, go online at Poshmark, and like you said, filter for your size, whatever price range is comfortable for you, and just have fun with it. And then guess what? If you don't like it, sell it.
Exactly. If you don't like, sell it, because, yeah, or give it away to someone less fortunate.
Exactly.
Now, financial stress and worrying about money is one of the top three sources of stress. The other is the top three, in case you're wondering, are health and
Mm.
relationships. Health, relationships, and money are the top three sources of stress.
Mhm.
How can saving money buying recycled clothing reduce financial stress?
Oh gosh, it truly does. Again, think of that back to school time period. Even for teachers, right? We would go and get new clothing for the new school year. And there is that, first there's that mental like voice in your head saying that this is a necessity, even though it is not. None of us need new clothing for, August and September. Um, so we have that voice in our head, and then if we allow ourselves to buy recycled clothing, secondhand clothing, it really also allows you to do more exploring and to buy more. Because right, if a dress is normally $250 and you get it for $50, you could get 4 more dresses. So it does allow you to kind of explore more of your own personality while being financially responsible. And then you can choose, right, how to spend that money that you save. I would spend it on more clothes, but
Yeah. So if you have a clothing budget, you can just simply stretch your clothing budget
oh yeah.
farther
Mhm.
and save the planet, you know, save the planet, protect the health of people in other countries because you're not causing them to produce more clothing.
Exactly.
Yes. And save water and production of chemicals. Now, why do you think you and I are both fashionistas, so we get it. So,
Right.
but for our audience, why do you think it's so important for our total well-being for women to feel beautiful and fashionable?
Oh, again, another one that really, really hits home. It is so, so important for a woman to not only feel beautiful, but know that she's beautiful. Because personally, I think that's where our power comes from, right? When we feel, yes, it's beautiful in the sense of appearance, but just beautiful as a person, right? I would, again, with that example of lipstick, yes, I'm changing my appearance, but it is truly altering my confidence, how I project myself into the world. And once that confidence like is displayed to others and then kind of reflected back at me, it just keeps going, right? So I'm confident, they respond to my confidence, and I respond back. So it allows you to be the best you. And again, that sounds so cliche, but it truly, when you understand your brand of beautiful and you're able to dress it and just like dedicate yourself to it, like baby, you'd be unstoppable. That's
Yes. And as a medical intuitive healer, Diana Fellaa, I often find that so many of us are literally waiting. We're waiting to live our lives. It's like, I'm going to wait to lose 10 pounds before I buy a bathing suit or go to the party. Literally, you're waiting to participate in life. And I feel as a medical intuitive healer, there's so many people where I work with them. It's like, okay, this is your beauty type. And there's some people, for example, we're never going to have washboard abs. You just aren't.
Like it's not happening.
It's not happening. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Don't try, but you don't have to wait to feel beautiful.
Exactly.
I have a long-term client and she's always saying, oh, gosh, I wish I could lose, fill in the blanks. She's one of the most beautiful people I know. She's always put together. And she also shops responsibly and ethically, and she's wearing beautiful outfits. So you just find your style, find your colors, find the shapes that work for you, and then shop in an ethically, responsible way for your health, the health of the planet, and the whole people in far off lands, and you're way better off. Now, Diana Fellaa, when we want to be healthy naturally, which is what we talk about here at the Natural Healing Show, so many of us start by working on the inside. You think, oh, I got to go exercise. I need to eat better. I need to change the way I'm thinking. And all of this is, of course, really important. As an online fashion reseller, how do you think that working from the outside in by changing our appearance can create actually profound transformation?
Yeah, this is such a unique topic because even if you Google body mind transformation, it's always, inside out, inside out, inside out. But if you start outside in, kind of like counterintuitively, what I love about that is it's instant, right? I mean, again, lipstick, a dress, a pair of heels, instant change, and it's not permanent, right? Like you can try something, and then if it doesn't work out, it's okay. And then you can keep trying. And again, when you have that outside change, maybe you may not feel it on the inside immediately, but other people around you notice it. And it's that like back and forth of they respond to your image, right? Again, first impressions are truly most important. And, people respond to what they see. So when they respond to you more positively, then you respond more positively. And slowly but surely, you will realize, oh, wow. I mean, it wasn't actually my lipstick. It was me, right? So it's kind of like a little stepping stone, or maybe like a little step stool for a kid, like you need it for a little bit. And then finally you realize, oh, wait, no, the red lipstick didn't give me confidence. It just helped me realize my confidence. And I think it's one of the most powerful tools that we underutilize. Like, work on your outside and the rest will just fall into place.
Yes. And here at the Natural Healing Show, one of the things that we talk about is your environment is the most powerful factor.
Oh, yes.
So on the macro level, global warming and all the many ramifications of that is affecting Diana Fellaa's health, because there's fires in Colorado and you were coughing earlier. So that global warming is affecting each and every one of us here on the planet. And, so again, as we begin to really think about how each of our choices is affecting the planet, like many people know, well, gosh, maybe I should get an electric car. or a car with better gas mileage, or maybe I should commute to work so I'm not polluting, or maybe I should recycle more in my kitchen, or avoid more plastics. But again, this fashion piece is a big part of our health that we're not even thinking about, right?
Oh, yeah. And I will say the fast fashion industry does a very good job at keeping the production of clothing completely out of our minds. So they know what they're doing, right? They know if we were exposed to it in our daily lives, we would not be, as keen on constantly buying new clothes. But because there's no visual reminder of the negative impacts of fashion right in our backyard, so we often forget about it.
Yes, they don't want you to know that your dress was made by a slave in China.
Exactly. Exactly.
Breathing polluted air, you know, barely scraping by and contributing to global warming. So Diana Fellaa, online fashion reseller of educatedfashion.com. Any final thoughts for our audience?
I just say, try anything new, right? If you want to try reselling, get into reselling. But I just found that personally, to feel beautiful, to be happy, just get out there, try something new, put on red lipstick. You don't like it, change the color, and just keep exploring, because without exploring, you'll never realize how beautiful you are. And you're all beautiful.
Oh, what a positive message. You've been listening to the Natural Healing Show for UK Health Radio. I'm your host, Catherine Carrigan, medical intuitive healer and Amazon #1 bestselling author. You can find out more about me and my work at catherinecarrigan.com and unlimitedenergynow.com. While you're there, definitely sign up for my newsletter so you can learn even more about how you can heal yourself naturally. Our guest today has been the beautiful, brilliant, and talented Diana Fellaa, online fashion reseller. Please look up her wonderful work at educatedfashion.com. And remember, your environment is the most powerful factor in your health, and become more educated about how the choices that you make about your clothing affect your health and the health of everybody all over the planet. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.